Welcome to Prime Testimony Channel. I am Ato Brent Eshan. Remember, in my last video, I promised you that we would do the male version of the one we did for the women, where we looked at the challenges young ladies face. Today, I've assembled here a group of young men, and we're also going to look at challenges young men face. With me to have this beautiful discussion, from my immediate right are
Drew Kumi Bernard, Peter Sambia Maximilian,
Clement Amwa.
all right. You are welcome, friends.
Thank you very much for
All right.
having us.
Young men, especially African young men, face a lot of challenges. And today we have met here to look at some of the challenges that young men face.
Okay. When it comes to employment, African young men are really going through challenges. Number one, jobs are not available. There are few jobs, many people chasing those few jobs. So to get yourself a job is a hassle. And even to have a job, the location is one thing, where the job is located, and the salary you're going to be paid. Oftentimes, salaries are very low. You look at the responsibilities on you and how much you're going to receive. Sometimes the consolation is that, well, you just accept it and hope for a better one to come.
All right. Yeah, what are your views, Clement and Bernard?
Okay, when it comes to employment, one of the challenges we face is, you see, when you have been employed, so, it's one thing for you to do a job, another thing for you to be employed. Let's say the case of being employed. Sometimes you enter an organization and the salary you are being given is the problem. And by the time you even complain, the employer can tell you that, well, people are still seeking for jobs, so you can leave if you are not having a salary. So you can imagine you are wasting much of your time, years, in a certain organization, receiving less. How much do you have to spend and how much do you have to save, even for the future? So somebody can live for some years and having some small amount in his or her account, of which it's a challenge you are going through, which prevents you from marrying, even having to rent house or homes is a problem. Even try to help others, a family member is a problem. So we are working, but the pocket is empty. Simply because somebody is not willing to do what actually you deserve.
All right, I want you to come and so can we attribute this as one of the reasons why men usually don't marry early like it used to be?
Yeah, it can be one of the factors.
Oh, okay, I see.
Because you meet some men, they tell that, what is my job?
Okay.
How much do I receive?
All right.
How much do you at least spend myself from other people? And that becomes an excuse to the person. So the person is living for himself alone, and not having in mind to even marry to take off another person because of the person receives.
All right, thank you very much. Bernard, you want to add? Or maybe
Before Ben comes, I think it's a major reason why African men don't marry early. Because you earn so little, you have rent to pay, you have sometimes other obligations to meet. How much are you going to save on a monthly basis to be able to, perform the necessary rites for a woman? And so a lot will think, for the meantime, let me concentrate on myself. So it will take you a number of years to be able to raise the support you need to settle down. And to also know that you are going to take on another responsibility, added to yours. You need to prepare, and that takes time.
I'm wondering whether the ladies understand, because the ladies also accuse them that Ghanaian men, African men, don't like getting married.
It's the economic situation. The economic situation is getting worse and worse every day.
I see.
And if God does not help us and we as a people don't help ourselves, it's going to get worse.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Bernard?
This issue, to me, is quite worrisome, because looking at the number of job avenues in town, as an African or African states and countries in Africa, and looking at the number of young men and women who are now aspiring for certain jobs, you realize it can't meet. They are parallel moving because each day and each month, each day, each night, each year, we are giving birth to young people, and there are no more new jobs coming into the existence to help the young guys and the young
And
women.
they starting new jobs, the capital, and all these
So
challenges.
it is very, very, very crucial, and I think countries and their leadership should be looking at it.
I see. But, okay, yeah, Clement.
Relating to the employment issue and the marriage issue.
Yeah.
For instance, some of the family members, by the time you introduce the lady you want to marry, even to your parents, say, what work does she do?
Yeah.
That
Of course,
means,
definitely every
so
parent will ask.
every man, by the time you are going for a woman, you are looking at your earning first. And the woman is also jobless. So that these ones are always walking around by looking for a husband. In what way can they support the man? So the man could eventually might have met the woman who is not working, but in the name of duty, in the name of love, you also leave the woman. By the time you bring them home, you can ask you, what is her job?
I see.
And how far can she help you
All right.
to make life?
All right.
So-
Okay. I've heard you, but I want to understand what you well.
Yeah.
Is it the bride price and then all the costs associated with the marriage that is difficult, or it is that one together with the
the responsibility of being a husband.
A husband. Okay.
Because the women are also going through their own challenges.
All right.
Even jobs for women are equally not available.
Okay, then let me ask this funny question. Then why don't we allow the women to start marrying us as husbands? Maybe they get
It's a matter of economic power.
economic power.
Yeah, so a lot of the women don't have jobs themselves.
I see.
And so if he's going to settle down with you as a man, how are you going to support
I see.
yourself?
I see. All right.
One more thing is that I think it's not about the right price. Maybe in some families, when you approach them, say, I want to marry your daughter, the man can say, oh, take care.
Because already they want to dispose of
Take care. You take care, whatever you want, you don't put the envelope. Once you in an envelope, and the man will take it. Now my child is for you, it's with you, by you, everything you.
I see.
Bless
And that is where now the list is blessed. You also, your income is small. So the two of you, let's make life.
I see. You are listening to Prime Testimony Channel. There are issues here. Interestingly, people in other parts of the world, there are a lot of women that are also looking for husbands. You come to Africa, there are well-able men, well-educated, who are working in case you need a good husband. Just turn your eyes to Africa. There are a lot of us here. There are Christian men here, you can get some. There are other people who are also not married who are also Muslim. But by the way, let me find out. Are you all married or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you are married, so by God's grace you have chosen yours. Thank you very much. Let's look at a young African young man who has finished his education. Let's say he has gotten a job. Right now, let us look at rent and utilities. Are there any challenges?
There are a lot. There are a lot of challenges. You know, especially in Ghana, we use a chunk of our accumulated funds. Maybe we purposefully accumulated them for, say, investment. But per the system we have in Ghana, most of our accumulated funds go into renting. Getting a place as an abode is very difficult. Recently, I went to Cote d'Ivoire, and one thing I realized there is the rent advance they take in Ivory Coast is 3 months maximum.
I see.
Maximum. I rented an apartment in Cote d'Ivoire.
And
It
then
was
here
3
we
months.
have to pay for 24 months.
Yes, 24
Some
months.
minimum.
Some even demand for 36.
And the amount they quote for the month, say a single room apartment, is quite outrageous. So it is becoming a hectic moment for young guys and young women, which we need to look at it and address it very well.
Yeah, I think rent over the years is becoming a major problem
Yeah.
for young people. Imagine you have just started working and you need a place and the landlord tells you they are taking 2 years advance.
2 years have not been 24 months, right?
24 months.
Yes.
Your salary cannot meet that. So maybe the best way is to seek for a loan. And usually, the issue with rent is that if you took a loan to rent, by the time you are about finishing paying the loan, it is due. And of course, over here, a lot of laws don't work. And sometimes you don't blame the people too, because look, consider the cost of building materials today, and you don't have any support from anybody, no government institution. You can't get a loan for that, even if you got a loan at outrageous interest rates.
Yes.
You see, so when the person has managed to do this and you want to tell them 6 months, it won't work. Because you don't have the moral authority to do so because you didn't invest anything into it. So if you took a rent for 2 years, by the time you finish paying, it is due again. So people are just living from hand to mouth. Hand to mouth. 2 years you pay, the little you gather, the next 2 years you go and pay. And even now, the law says that after 2 years, they shouldn't take more than, I think,
But there's a demand and supply thing.
Exactly. Somebody is standing by to pay.
Yeah.
So if you are not ready,
Yeah,
you get kicked out.
I see.
So it's a huge challenge.
Okay. Moreover, able to raise loan to rent a room. You can't live in an empty room. You must furnish the room as well. And as a young man, you want a well-furnished room.
Yeah, otherwise you won't even get
Using
it.
the right electrical gadgets, the televisions, and the other things around. So I know all these things, the bills are waiting for you. So for the best, the cost involved in putting your room in order, well-furnished room,
Appealing.
attractive enough for a lady also to usher in.
Then I think we have to consider my initial proposal. The women should start coming to marry us.
They equally are going through similar challenges.
I see.
So that renting a room alone is not
Yeah,
enough.
that's true.
The cost involved, the
The cost
utility cost,
involved.
the things you need to put in your room to make it a living room.
I think there's a.
So I want to make an appeal. I want to appeal to our government, especially Ghana government, that the laws that are there for room, acquisition of land, acquisition of, I don't know, should be such that it will favor the citizens. In fact, if a young man has to put a lot of money together before he could get a single room apartment to lay his or her head, in fact, it's quite troublesome.
Yeah, but you see, until we are able to control certain things, the government will not have that moral. If inflation is, as it's skyrocketing,
Rocketing right now over 50-60%.
you can imagine. And people have struggled to go through all of that.
Oh, yeah.
And our governments, to be honest with you, from the time you acquire land, permits,
You cannot depend on-
constructing,
Yeah.
even the road to your place, nobody cares. How you get water, how you get light, after doing your electricals, and they should just bring you a meter and take
Yeah.
bills.
Yeah.
You go through here.
Yeah, but even those of you living in the middle part of Ghana,
It's better.
it's better.
Yeah.
Because when you look at land issues compared to those of us living in Accra, it's something.
But it's getting
It's-
bad
it's-
each day over here.
It's-
If you're not careful,
Yeah.
you have to buy and rebuy.
You are listening to Prime Testimony Channel. You are hearing us live from Sunyani in the Bono region of Ghana. Friends, let's look at choosing a life partner. A friend of mine was telling me that the cost of Mpuna or Mwiwi maintenance has gone high. Mwiwi or Mpuna means a girlfriend, boyfriend, or fiancé or fiancé, whatever. Choosing a life partner, are there any challenges associated with them? Is it costly in Ghana to date somebody? Even the process of choosing, are there any parental influence and challenges?
I like this topic so much, but then it is something else. Our setting as Ghanaians, when a young girl or a young man wants to go into
Yeah.
a relationship and which will lead to marriage, most of the families will come in and will want to do a lot, pushing the lady, pushing the young man into something maybe himself or herself wouldn't want to even go there. Like, oh, I have seen this nice family, Christian background, she prays a lot, going for her. Then they'll push you into it. At the end of the day, after you have done, you perform all the marital rites and you take the person into the house. Now, that young lady, the character she portray afterwards necessarily doesn't depict the person you knew. And so it becomes a trouble for young guys and young ladies.
Yeah, please, I'm not I just want to understand. Does it mean that, are you trying to say that there are some families that when they see that somebody is a Christian, or some family, there's a Christian family, and they are committed to prayer,
Yes.
and those things,
Yes.
there's assumption that the children they're raising will be good wives, so should
Yes,
go for them.
yes.
Oh,
Once
okay.
they pray, once they are
They're active in church.
active in church and
Oh, okay.
church activities, that is all. They think that is enough
Okay.
for one to go in and take that lady or that young man.
All right.
And that is a problem.
Oh,
Yes,
all right.
that's a problem.
So I think in our part of the world, we marry into a family. So you don't just marry, you don't meet a lady and say we're getting married.
Yeah.
And so the family plays a big role in our marriages. For me, the challenge I see is this, that sometimes you've met somebody, both of you love yourself, you've decided to settle down. Then she takes you home or you take her home. And the first question often is, where does he or she come from? Then you mention the place. Then later on they'll tell you, Mikrum Kwanwa, to wait. The hometown is too far away.
Yeah, far away, okay.
The same person brought another person from probably another continent elsewhere. The family will not say his or her home is far. So you realize that sometimes there are some economic considerations at play. So that is the challenge I have. And sometimes you are in the same church. We will preach to ourselves, in the church there is no Greek nor Gentile. But as soon as you bring somebody from a certain part of the country,
For marriage.
they tell you his hometown is too far.
No, is it really the distance or
Actually,
there's a
that is not the main reason.
I think it's
we only
because of
hide behind
some
that.
ethnocentrism. That's why.
That is true.
Ethnic, stuff.
That is true. But I think sometimes, as I earlier said, it's just the economics.
Yeah.
If you brought a Dangote or the son of a Dangote,
The richest man in
the
Africa.
richest man in Africa, I'm not sure they will be asking him
I'm sure
where
they
he comes
would
from.
you go and meet them with a pattern from
You can imagine.
to dance.
So that is one of the challenges I have when it comes to marriage in our part of the world.
Okay.
Thank you.
When it comes to the issue of marriage, one thing comes into play, that is uncertainty. We enter into a relationship full of uncertainty. We meet a woman, we are here to know who she is before we make decision afterwards. Now, after that one also, the family issues as well. For now, you can send a woman to a home and ask her, what work does she do? Peradventure, some of the family, they wish that you are married to a woman who receives a monthly salary so that the person can support you into the extent of the family. But for all you know, that woman, upon the job the person does and the salary the person receives, might not be the issue. But who that woman is to you. Me, I believe personally that going to marry is not about what the person has, the person's background, but it's about compatibility with the person, being tactful with the person you are meeting. Well, that one works for you, but we come from a place whereby now money has become an issue. Earlier on, in the old days, I'm going to talk about, is she a virgin? But these days, it's not about who a virgin is. It's about, is she rich or having enough something, having something to support you in life?
Okay. You mean the woman or the man?
Then when the man is going for a woman,
Yeah.
in the olden days, they talk about is she a virgin?
Okay.
But this time, don't ask a virgin again. They ask for is she rich enough to support you financially? So we face all these things sometimes, and we make even the right of our lives. You can go in for a woman who is rich, and you end up in a certain way. And sometimes you can go in for somebody maybe who you can even start life with, or you can even empower the person to become who she ought to be in the future.
You go ahead.
But it will amaze you that you can be denied by the same family members because of economic.
Even before, even apart from the family, the young ladies are saying that at first they said, okay, love before money, but they say without money, they cannot be. In fact, one of the ladies described it as an error.
Yes.
I mean, you are listening to Prime Testimony Channel. Definitely, we shall meet again to continue with the discussion. Thank you very much, Bernard. Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you very much, Clement, for responding to my call to contribute to the discussion. My name is Ato Rentishan. Please subscribe to Prime Testimony Channel.